Hi again folks, this is another part for the micro Rondo Flybarless unit. Acid here from Llama Feed. Here we have the micro Rondo Flybarless unit. It's updated to the latest firmware and it's connected to a TT360 helicopter. What we're going to do here is to program the unit. We have the control panel which is already plugged in. That allows you to program it. It's an LCD panel which comes with the unit. It's plain, simple and easy to use. And it's already, like I said, plugged in, and there's power to the unit. You cannot use this without having power to the unit. I've disconnected the motor, I've disconnected the links, so it shouldn't be any problems. So here we have it. As you can see here, when you first plug it in, it will tell you what version firmware it is. Select the function. Here's the arrow keys. There's only 4 buttons here: up, down, left and right. So we'll go down and it says receiver assignments. Click right, it's obvious, tells you which way to go. And RX type, the single line, you've got standard receiver, Futaba S-Bus, Spectrum, you know, and there you can assign the channels individually as well. But here I'm using a Spectrum. So I will go into Spectrum, down, up, see Spectrum. Now press right. Then it says start binding with down, the arrow. The arrow tells you what button to press. So when you press that, it says connect receiver. So you connect the satellites to the unit, and when you've connected it, the sats start to flash very rapidly, and you bind it as normal for a Spectrum transmitter. You can refer to your Spectrum manual to find out how that's done. Okay. Now we've got past that. I'm not going to do that right now because I've already bound it and I don't have a transmitter here handy. So I'm going to cycle the power again. Okay. Okay, so receiver assignments. As you see, we have Spectrum here. The best way to save what you've programmed in is to push the back key, hold it down, and press the right key, and as you see it says all parameters saved. That's fine, it's done. Okay, so we have a Spectrum receiver there. Next one is channel monitoring. Now if you go into this, the first one is T, that's -380. That is the tail rotor. That shows you the center position, and it will show you the extremes, like on the collective pitch. It will show you the plus or the minus maximum when you move the sticks. Ideally they should be at 0, apart from this one, which is the gain for the tail gyro, and that's the gain for the actual Flybarless unit for the cyclics itself. But what happens here is these will go to 0, and I will actually do that if you stick with me. I'll get my trusty DX7. I shall pop a satellite back in. As you can see, it's fiddly here due to the fact that I've mounted it in an awkward position. Now I should recycle the power. Turn on the DX7, plug in the helicopter. There, we're live, and you see it's bound, it's ready to go. Okay, if anyone saw that, that's the way it tells you that it's initialized the unit. Now here we go again. Receiver assignments, we've got Spectrum, channel monitoring. Here we go. As you see, it's significantly changed. 00, that means that's the center. This unit finds a center itself. So if you move it left and right, you'll see it'll go to plus or minus figure. It should ideally be 100, and you can change that by using your endpoint adjustment in the transmitter, not subtrim, endpoint. Use that and you'll be able to successfully get that 100 plus or minus 100. Same with the collective, same with the aileron and elevator. And we'll go on to the next function. You don't need to save that, by the way. Next function, tail settings. Now this allows you to change it to a 760 servo, which this is not. I always recommend that you change this tail servo setting before you plug any servos into the tail, so you don't have any damage. But this servo is a 1520, so that's fine. Collective pitch to tail, we don't need that. There we go, that's the amount of collective pitch it feeds into a tail to compensate for any torque. Okay, tail settings, we've got that as again 1520. Come back out the menu, hold down the left button, hold down the right button, all parameters saved. Okay, tail settings, swash plate configuration, it's 120 degree, that's what I've got here. Or you can have a mechanical, 135 degrees, 140 degrees, 90 degrees. I've got it 120 degrees. Okay, check it, 120 degrees, hold the left, hold the right, parameters saved. Okay, servo reverse, this is to change the direction of the servos obviously on the helicopter. So how do we do that? You say, I already know because I've used this before. So the tail servo on this helicopter is set to normal. The swash plate servo number 1 is set to normal. Swash plate servo number 2 is set to normal. Swash plate number 3 servo will set to reverse. Now if you look at the instruction manual, it's very clear on which servo is number 1, 2 and 3. Okay, come out of that menu, hold the left, hold the right, and it saved the servos. And as you see on the helicopter, everything's going in the right direction. Okay, check servo center, check and adjust. This, when I select this, you see that it centralizes it. That should be at 0 pitch. You should have all the links level, 90 degrees perpendicular, and it will allow you to sub trim the servos. As you see, this one is slightly off, so it allows you to do it with the tail servo. I've done this before, and I know I don't need any on this. Swash plate servo number 1, I know it's 13 because I've done it before. So if you increase it by pressing the top button, plus the bottom button changes it to minus. So look, +3, look, -1, -2. Okay, so this one is, I'm holding it down, +13, believe it or not, and there you will see now it's centralized. That's swash plate servo number 1. Swash plate servo number 2 is -5. Down the way, -5. Check swash plate servo number 3, which we don't need to do anything with because I already know. Okay, come out of that, hold the left, hold the right, all parameters saved. Okay, now tail and swash plate ranges. That sets the limits for the swash plate, for the pitch, for the cyclics, and for the tail left and right. Okay, go in. Tail side 1, you will see the default here is 60%. When I change it, I already know that it's side 1 is 55. So if you can see it moving, right, side 2, it automatically goes to that side, and side 2 for me, I will change that. Okay, now collective pitch side 1, and you will see what happens here. The swash plate goes to the point. I'll go back again. Right, okay, collective pitch, you'll see it. Positive, maximum positive pitch, it'll show you. Right now you can select, it's a default 40%. I know mine should be at 52 because I know I've used it. Right, so when you increase this value, you'll see the swash plate rising. Gone past it. 52. Right, okay, side 2, and you saw the swash plate drop, and that is 62. You'll see it drop, the swash plate dropping. Okay, now the max cyclic default is 70%, and I know this one's 50% to get 8 degrees. ProRC recommends 8 degrees, so I'll change it to 50%. Okay, As always, come out that menu, hold the left, hold the right, all parameters saved. Gyro reverse. This is just like your tail gyro. This is the flybarless gyro, so it goes in the correct direction. It corrects in the proper way. Now I know that the tail gyro is normal, elevator is normal, so aileron has to be reversed on this helicopter, so press the button, it measures the settings, it resets it. Now you see it's gone into reverse. Come out that menu, hold the left button, hold the right, saved. Next one is dynamic swash plate settings. What is that? Pyro rate. You know, it's not pyro rate, it's the pyro optimization, to stop it wandering off when you do pirouettes on the spot. It's called dynamic swash plate, right? So default is off. You can set it to off or on, and I know on this helicopter it should be reversed. And if you read the manual, it tells you how it's operated and what to do to check if it's right. It's self-explanatory, and it works pretty well. Hold the left button, hold the right button, saved. Okay, next menu, dynamic swash plate settings. Done that. Yeah, miscellaneous settings. Let's quickly go for that. Turn rondo 90 degrees. Set it off. That's if you want to change where the rondo unit is located, so the knows which way to correct the sensors. That, the VSWP1, that is to counteract any phasing. Language English, and it's got French, Dutch. There you go. There's tail gyro mode. That's if you want to specifically use the unit as just a tail gyro. If you don't want to use it as a flybarless unit, this, if you select that, you can only use it as a tail gyro. Bank 1. You can save settings to different banks. This is handy. This saves all your settings to all the banks. Right, you can reselect a bank. Right, okay, we're out of that. Gain channel settings. This is important. Tail offset, you can have plus or minus. I'll explain that in a minute. Swash plate offset, plus or minus. Or you can have the gain 1, gain 2, and it tells you tail and the swash plate mode 2 there. That's the default. What we have here is you can adjust this unit. You can have everything adjusted by the pot here, or you can have everything adjusted by the transmitter, or you can have one thing adjusted by the transmitter, the other thing adjusted by the pot. I have my tail gyros adjusted by the transmitter, and the pot controls the cyclic gains, and this allows you to do that. That's what this is set up for. But if you go back to swash plate offset, if you have them set, both of them set in one function, just say for argument, if you've got it set in a transmitter, the DX7, on one switch, it's unlikely that the gains are going to be the same for the tail and for the cyclic, so there will be an offset, there will be a difference. This allows you to set that difference if you're just using the one switch. Handy feature. You can have mode 1 or mode 2 for the swash plate modes. Mode 1 is for beginners, mode 2 is more for advanced 3D flying. There we go, and hold down the left, hold down the right, and it's saved. There's one more function here that I'm going to show you. It's a professional setting. Do not use this unless you are 100% sure or you are told to use it by priority, because it could cause problems here. If you're in channel monitoring, hold down the left button, hold down the right button, and it goes into professional settings. Then you move into the right and you tail stabilizer settings. They've got a myriad of functions here that you can change: the P gain, the I gain, the D gain, the I range, acceleration, like all those different functions you can change for the tail gyro. They're all there. Gives you a lot of flexibility if you're having issues. Their tail stick settings, speed, decay, dead band, swash plate stabilizer settings. Here we got the P gain for elevator, handy. P gain for the aileron. You got the I gain, you got the D gain, you got the expo for elevator. You've got the I range out, you've got the I range in, you've got the stopping, I expo, you've got decay, decay 2, and direct elevator and direct aileron percentages. This is if you're having issues, and look, there you got aileron gain. So that way you can adjust these settings separately, because some helicopters do suffer from problems and you might need to do them separately. miscellaneous settings too, TX trimming, takeover range. There's a lot here, and Pro RC do not tell you about this menu because they don't want you to go in and mess it up, and I can understand that. The reason for that is because there's so many different functions. You can go in and you can get a decently flying manual, and you can get your model, and you can get yourself into a lot of trouble by just changing these functions and end up having a crash or cause some injury. So we just go back into the basic settings. That's what we basically need. There we go. And you want to always remember, never fly the unit with this control panel plugged in, as it causes a lag, a delay for the control function, so you could cause a crash. Also, always cycle the unit once you've changed anything. That's what I do. Make sure you've saved everything. Hold the left, hold the right. When you're in any of the menus, all the parameters are saved. Now you're good to go. And if you watch this unit here, it will actually show you an initialization. I will turn it off here. Watch that swash plate. On with the transmitter, on with the receiver. Watch carefully. It will have, there you go. Unless you get that, you're not ready to go. That tells the unit and tells you that it's the unit is initialized and it's safe and it's ready to proceed. Okay folks, I hope that was helpful. You refer to the manual. Like I said, this is just a quick basic look at programming this unit, and it's very, very good. This controller for programming is handy, excellent, and it does the job. Even at the field, if you want to make any change, just plug it in and you're good to go. So that's a wrap for the llama feed. Acid out.